W's and L's, the weekly recap show where we give a dub to the things that we do like and an L to the things that we don't. I'll go first. Let's start off with my dubs. Columbus State is providing free education for upcoming Columbus City School graduates, which is dope.
Like all the way up to the associates, like all the way to the degree.
I believe so, yeah. Which is dope. I mean, you know, if it wasn't already beneficial for some of these kids to go to Columbus State to at least get their gen eds out of the way, this just even.
Oh, you can get an associate's degree for free for graduating from Columbus. Is that retroactive?
No.
Shit.
No. I think it's for all future graduates.
Gotcha.
I trust me. I looked into it.
Like,
shit. What?
Go over here and get a couple things, just random shit.
You know what I mean? But that's dope. That's taking a step forward for Columbus City schools.
For sure.
Were you ever on MySpace?
I did have a MySpace. I didn't use it, but it was a page was created.
Okay. There is a developer who basically created like a retro version of MySpace, complete with all the features. So you can get on there and make a page. It's called Space Hey, which I don't know why in the world they would call it that. It's kind of a weird name, but it's MySpace. It's basically MySpace. Like I said, all the features, the bulletins, the blogs, you can get on there and make your own page.
The songs when you go to the page.
The songs, all of that. So it's, for all intents and purposes, it's MySpace. The only difference that I found I set up my profile, but they don't have a lot of layouts right now for it. So it's kind of where it's like, eh. But see, back then, I would have no problem with having like LeBron or like Jay-Z as my background. I don't think as a grown man, I want to have another grown man as my profile. So it's a little different. But the one thing that I can remember that this Space Hey doesn't have that MySpace had was Tom is not your first friend. It's the developer.
Fuck Tom.
Yeah. Fuck Tom?
Fuck Tom.
I'd much rather be friends with Tom than Mark fucking Zuckerberg.
I'm not friends with either one of them.
Fair enough. I actually got rid of Tom as a friend on MySpace too.
You unfriended Tom?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Tom was your first friend, bro.
I know, and I unfriended
So you said fuck Tom too?
Yeah, when I was 15. I don't know. I think I was just like, I don't know who this is, and I just unfriended him. But whatever.
Watch who you trust, people. Watch who you trust.
That's crazy. But yeah, no, it's kind of cool to see that come back, and you know, I'll be checking it out. I don't think I'll be using it all the time or using it in depth like that, but I will definitely be on it from time to time. So check out my Space Hey.
About as much as you use Clubhouse?
I use Clubhouse very, very rarely, but I still use it sometimes.
I haven't opened up that app in months.
Yeah, no, I've definitely been in a room within the last 2 months.
Gotcha.
Yeah. On to my L's. So, in a effort of terrible marketing, at least to me, I guess it worked, so I guess it's not all that terrible, but Arby's gets an L from me because they are coming out with an 80 proof fry flavored vodka. One is supposed to be like their regular fries and the other one's supposed to be like their curly fries. So they're coming out with two. And I understand that vodka is made from potatoes, but I don't think anybody's asking for fry flavored vodka.
I feel like flavored vodka is for people who sneak and drink in their basements. Or college freshmen.
I say very young kids.
College freshmen.
Yeah.
But this is like I am so far out of the flavored vodka age of my life. I cannot stomach it.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I can't do it. I agree. So it's not very exciting for me. Plus, it's like an awkward. Yeah, like you said, like it's made out of potatoes, but you don't think vodka and potatoes. Let me have a drink and a baked potato. You know what I mean? That's not a thing.
No.
So I don't know. It's very awkward.
And so I don't know if I want to have a vodka that tastes like fry seasoning. Like it's a weird thing.
What if it tasted like a beef cheddar classic?
That's even weirder. How do you get it to do that? That's the only
Why
thing.
Does this vodka taste like roast beef?
I mean, I guess you could if you can get it to taste like fucking birthday cake or Fruit Loops. I guess you can get it to taste like anything.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Remember
no.
Pinnacle?
Yes. Unfortunately,
How did we ever drink that shit?
I don't know.
Pinnacle whipped.
Pinnacle.
That
Three
makes
Olives.
me want to throw the fuck up.
See, the cool thing about Pinnacle whipped was that you mix it with your root beer and it tastes like a root beer float. You mix it with,
Yeah, but who wants to drink root beer floats to get drunk every weekend, Josh? Who wants that?
I don't want that. That was just the thing back then.
Fucking wants that?
Was like, okay, let's get whipped so we can mix it with that. That was the thing.
Fucking 3 Olives. Oh,
3 Olives.
The Fruit Loop shit.
Yep.
Like I want to throw up thinking about drinking that shit all fucking night.
Good times.
And then feeling like a fucking piece of shit in the morning.
Good times.
Okay.
Wonderful times. Back when we were broken, we didn't know anything about alcohol.
You just drinking bullshit.
On to my last L. Last week, I believe, or no, it was 2 weeks ago. I had mentioned giving an L to Rockstar for re-releasing the trilogy of Grand Theft Auto 3, Grand Theft Auto Vice City, and Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. Yep. And then I had mentioned possibly wanting to get my hands on a copy.
Gave him an L and then wanted to buy it.
It's a safe bet that I will not be buying this trilogy now. It released, and so it finally came out. And I have seen damn near no positive reviews of it because the graphics of it looks terrible, right? Like it's a remaster, but everything about it just looks almost overly cartoonish. And then there's just so many bugs with it. It was almost just as if, and this is happening a lot with video games where they kind of release it unfinished. And then
fix it as they go. And they release the extension packs that's less bugs and stuff like that. That's where video games is going, and that's why I think people have largely become. I mean, it's still a $1 billion industry. People are still buying video games, but I think what has happened to like the comic book film genre, where they have shifted the model from serving the people who are most loyal to that genre, but serving a wider customer base. That's similar to what's happened in video games. Instead of serving gamers and people who enjoy the games and the reason why they enjoy the games, they've shifted it to serve as a broader base of people. Yeah. And so you see it reflecting at least in the quality of the games for sure.
Mm-hmm. No, that's 1,000%. Mm-hmm. And you can really see it when, games like Madden, for example, they release the same thing every year. Mm-hmm. Somehow it still has bugs, and it never really progresses graphic-wise as much as you think it would. Like, just shit like that. Like, don't give me a product that's not finished. What happened to, back when it was Madden 04? You had a finished game. It was wonderful to play, and you could play it years after.
What happened to the updated features? Like, you got a new feature on every game. Remember we used to have like the QB vision?
There was QB vision, there was Playmaker, there was Hit Stick and Truck Stick.
Man, Hit Stick changed the video game football world forever.
1,000%.
Hit Stick changed the video game football game forever.
1,000%.
You don't have that type of innovation anymore. It's just like, we'll retool it, turn the resolution up to whatever the standard mode is nowadays, and give it back to you.
And put all of our efforts in the pay-to-play part of it.
Yeah, right. Yep, absolutely.
Like, we're not going to revamp anything else. We might give you the Pro Bowl during the season now, but that's the only new feature you're getting, even though we took that away 3 years ago. It's just dumb shit like that.
Yep.
I don't know. Sure. But anyway, that's it.
It's your list?
Yep.
All right. Let's get to it. I think I'll take the lambs to the slaughter before I give out my positive. Terry Crews is a nasty MFer. Oh, I forgot why we can't say MFer, but we can say it about Terry Crews because I don't care about Terry Crews. Okay. So, MFer has, surprise, surprise, a racist history. So they would take black bucks and force them to breed other black women to make more slaves, right? Essentially. And that is where the term mother effer came from.
Got it.
First of all, I keep running into these type of stories in history, and it blows my mind. Just makes me really think that everything's fucking racist. But
Like the whole ice cream jingle.
yes, the ice cream jingle that I sung every summer, all of my childhood, is a song that they used to play when they sold slaves. That's how deep racism goes. You know what I'm saying?
It's a fact.
Anyways, Terry Crews, this MFer, is doing anti-union propaganda for Amazon.
We're here. I heard Amazon was hiring a bajillion people and thought I'd take a look for myself.
Do you have to go with the arrow up?
Yeah.
The arrow up. So Amazon does pay for tuition?
Yep.
So what do you think my major should be? Hi, Savannah. Hi, Jerry. Wait, I get to drive a forklift? Benefits, tuition, and flexible hours. They're hiring everywhere, so check it out for yourself.
And it is just, it's gross. So now Terry Crews has officially dubbed himself the corporate arm of whatever company is willing to pay him. You know, whether it's NBC or Amazon, you got to check for him. He's coming to take it, and he will tap dance all night long for you.
Why do you need a commercial for anti?
Well, because Amazon is one of those ecosystems right now in corporate America, much like Walmart or Google and stuff like that, where people are trying to unionize because of the conditions that they go through, that they have.
With Amazon.
So, and you know what? I keep forgetting about Amazon in the midst, and why it's important either to have information going out against this or to not have what Terry Crews is doing, is that, you know, they offering the free tuition and they pay $16 an hour or whatever like that, and you know, they throw you all of these bits, these crumbs, right? And you forget that regular warehouse workers make like $30 an hour.
Yeah.
Like regular drivers who are out 12 hours a day delivering packages don't make $16 an hour.
No.
They're making $30-$40 an hour.
Or like mailmen.
Right, like
good money.
I think a mailman could be, or at least it used to be, a salaried position.
Yeah, at one point for sure.
At one point it was a salaried position. So you out here jugging packages in your pickup truck for $16 an hour, and you got to piss in a bottle while you on your route because they won't allow you to take a bathroom break. Oh, but hey, Terry Crews said that they pay for college, so it's all good.
No.
To hell with you, man.
Facts.
To hell with you and you signing up to mislead people for a check.
But it was already to hell with you anyway.
No, yeah, it was already to hell with you. Just to hell with you even more. Dave Chappelle. His high school. So I guess he holds a fundraiser for his alma mater. And this year, they have canceled it due to students at the school threatening a walkout over the Netflix dispute.
That's nuts.
Dave Chappelle says in his stand-up that the women's rights movements and LGBTQ movements have made great strides, and that they tend to make those strides all the way until they need to be white, and then all of a sudden the progress is null and void for everybody else that needs it. So here you are, a high school in Dayton. I'm not sure what the high school's name. I'm not familiar with the high school, but if you're holding an annual fundraiser every year, it tells me that you probably need funds. You would stop the most underprivileged in your school from receiving those funds and getting the help that they need because your adolescent asses want to hop on a culture war that has since died down on a national level, right? No one's even speaking about this anymore. The protests are still not going on. There's nothing behind this movement whatsoever. But you, 13 through 18-year-olds, are going to walk out and deny yourselves the funds that Dave Chappelle was raising for you. He's literally putting money in your pockets, advocating for you. But cancel that man and cancel his event, right? So that you don't receive the goodwill that he was trying to put into you. because that's activism. That is what activism is.
It's the Duke Ellington School of the Arts in Georgetown.
Oh man,
in D.C.
Damn, in D.C. I thought it was in Dayton.
Nah, I think he was born in Dayton and then moved to D.C.
Okay,
for a while.
so in D.C. My apologies. Man, sure would have been a hell of a thing.
I'm shocked that there's that many people at a high school that would be willing to go along with the walkout.
I am and I'm not. Right, I'm shocked that they allowed it to come to this and they actually canceled the event. I'm not shocked that a bunch of high schoolers hopped on a narrative that was set by a bunch of millennials who were incorrectly ascribing a title to Dave Chappelle, being that of transphobic, because of jokes that he said in the comedy stand-up. Because regardless of what they tell you, the youngins still get their cues from us.
That's a fact.
Regardless of what they say or how cool they trying to be about it, they get their cues from us. So if they hear all of this and they don't have the experience or the wherewithal to work through the nuance of this situation and what's actually being said and what's actually being accused and what's real and what's not, I'm not surprised that a bunch of kids ended up doing this. Or even wouldn't be surprised if there were faculty members that went along with it as well, because of that type of ecosystem that a high school has. Mm-hmm. My problem with it is that Dave Chappelle is squarely, firmly on your side. He's literally about to pump thousands of dollars into your school, into your futures, into your education. So at very least, sit down and speak with that man, which is what he's been asking you and the Netflix employees and everybody else who has a problem with what Dave Chappelle says from the very jump. Come talk. Come say something. Y'all have that wasn't the Netflix employees' first resolve. That wasn't these students' first resolve. Sit down and speak to this man. No, what y'all want to do is take his livelihood away and take his money away and take away his comedy and take away his deal with Netflix because he said something that offended someone. Doesn't even necessarily have to be you, because I refuse to believe that all of these people driving this are trans. It's such a small subset of our communities now, but yet we have millions of people championing trans causes because it's popular, because it's in vogue, right? Because it's it's the hot topic thing to do of the week. It's the social justice cause of the month. So now we got all of these champions of trans rights issues don't know anything about what's actually going on in that community. You would take food out of your own mouth to perpetuate a narrative. And if he's doing that, if he's coming in year out and he's trying to give money to that school, it's probably because you need it. So do you need to take this stance more than you need new books? You need to take this stance more than you need new plumbing in the school or whatever that money could have been used for. It's silly, man. It's silly.
I'll play slight devil's advocate on that, because what if, for example, somebody was giving money to Beechcroft, but you find out they're racist?
Slightly different situation, because if this is a black school, which it sounds, the Duke Ellington School of Art sounds like a traditionally black school or a historically black school, then Dave Chappelle at very worst, right, is insensitive towards a group that is outside of his purview, right, that is outside of his own experience, right? The children that he is attempting to represent while having this fundraiser are of his community. So if you're telling me would I take money or accept money being given to Beechcroft from a racist white man, that's different than what's going on right now with Dave Chappelle. Right? Dave Chappelle has a dispute with a very particular group, not even the entire group, a particular section of that group. And it seems like they're collapsing upon themselves and just defending out of knee-jerk reaction instead of actually hearing and discussing the points that were made during that special. Nobody wants to talk about the fine points of what he actually said. They want to cancel. When somebody screams at the top of their lungs for you to stop talking instead of arguing against your points, that says something about the merit of what it is they're claiming. It says something about their argument. People are not going at the content of what Dave Chappelle said. They just want him to shut up and be gone and be canceled. I'm not about to ascribe to that.
Fair enough. Like I said, slight devil's advocate.
No, I get it. And that's what people are trying to say, right? Because they keep trying to convince me that being trans in America is the same thing as being black, right? And so that if I criticize, or excuse me, being trans somehow is above reproach, therefore above criticism, right? But not the same for black people, right? Black people can be judged and criticized for a myriad of things, right? Their relationship with their women, the relationship with their children, just family in general, mental health issues, relationship with other communities, Latinos, Asians, right? We are constantly called to the floor for our decorum, or for some random person across the country's decorum, right? That we all have to be brought to the table to answer for. But if you call out something very specific that's outside of the black community, right? Because again, he's not talking about black lesbians, black homosexuals, black trans people. He is talking very specifically to the white liberal social class within the LGBT community. And somehow that has turned into Dave Chappelle being transphobic. Black man can't give money to a black school because Anyways, I mean, I hope you guys didn't need it. I sincerely hope that it wasn't you weren't counting on this money. Man, Steve Dace, what's up, bro? What's up? You gave us a Charles Barkley guarantee that Michigan was going to lose to Penn State this year. The man with the Michigan podcast, the Michigan football podcast, guaranteed that Michigan would lose to Penn State on Saturday.
I don't understand being a fan and just going out on a limb and doing things like guaranteeing
that your team is going to lose.
I can see seeing a loss coming, but guaranteeing?
It don't even make sense to you, right? Like, as a competitor, knowing that the team that you root for is going to play another team, could you even fixate your mouth to say that we're just going to lose?
No.
It doesn't even
Absolutely not.
It doesn't sit right in you, right? You know what the difference is? You play football. I play football. And playing football and talking about football are two different things. There are people that have never played the game that know the game of football like the back of their hands, right? What they don't know is camaraderie, competitiveness, right? What it actually feels like to be in the middle of those games. And so never having been in one of those situations, never having to adopt an attitude of we can win any game on any game versus anybody if we execute, right? When he says that, he's saying it as a cliche. When you say it, you're saying it because you know any team, any football team can get lined up and beat on any given day. It doesn't matter about those stars versus on the other side of your name. It doesn't matter about where you were recruited to play and what they projected you to do and how many national titles you won in years past. None of that shit matters, because when you step on the field on Saturdays, you can lose on any given day. Anybody can lose. Anybody. Doesn't matter. So this super pessimistic view of, oh, well, yeah, Michigan's just going to lose. I already know. Yeah, Michigan's going to lose. You keep that same energy. I want you to acknowledge the fact that you were dead ass wrong, right? That's the point that I don't want to get to. If you want to stay in pity party land for the whole fucking season, then it'll be on wax. It'll be on proof that you were shitting on this season all year when we get to wherever we get, right? If we end up going 10-2 for the rest of the season, you'll be on wax on a 10-2 season, being a fucking pissing all over it. You know, if we end up going to a playoff, going 11-1, you will be on wax, shitting on this season all year. Never at one point from week 1 all the way through the end of the season having full confidence in your team. That's an embarrassment. And I don't care that you try to use losses. Losses are part of fandom. Period. Dead periods in championship. If you are a Chicago Bulls fan right now, presently, you know that losses are part of losing. If you're a Chicago Cubs fan, you know that losses are part of fandom. If you are a Cleveland Cavaliers fan, you know that losses are part of fandom. You do not get to use losses to justify you being overly critical of your team. If you're no longer a fan, say that. Get out of Dodge, change the name of your podcast, and people will leave you alone. You don't claim to be a Michigan fan and not be a fan. And not be a fan. If you're not a fan no more and you're strictly a commentator, then say that. And then you can be down on Michigan all you want. But you looking in the face of an 8-1 season and guaranteeing a loss to a 3-loss team? A team in which Michigan was favored to beat? That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. And I know where the pivot's going to go. It's going to go to, oh, well, they're not going to beat Ohio State, right? Even though I swore up and down that they weren't going to beat Penn State. But now we're pivoting to the bigger challenge, qualifying our arguments. I already know. But it's on wax. We all saw it. You know it. You was wrong. Dead ass wrong. Couldn't have been more wrong. Own that. RJ Young. Ha ha. Player. Listen, man.
Fuck RJ Young.
Fan, like, I get it. Now, he's the opposite of Steve Dace.
Yeah.
Because RJ Young is a fan of Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Win, lose, or draw, he's a fan. And he advocates for his squad. Mm-hmm. And I can appreciate that. Yeah, that's why when I see some of them crazy-ass videos he was making over the college football playoff, I just couldn't do nothing but laugh. Because I understand where it's coming from. His team is undefeated. He wants the recognition. But, he's leaving a few things out. And the few things that he left out bit Oklahoma in the ass this weekend, and they ended up getting an L. So I don't want to hear nothing else about Michigan not beating anybody because we just beat a ranked opponent on the road. Don't want to hear nothing else about that. We beat 2 ranked opponents on the road. But you know what? Wisconsin is now ranked. They weren't ranked when we played them, but I feel like that should count because they're going to be top 15 this week.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't want to hear anything else about that. I don't want to hear anything else about Oklahoma. Oklahoma did what they have. It wasn't even like, oh, they've been playing well, and then they just happened to have this bad game. No, Oklahoma played in this game like they have played in every game. In every game. Every single one. It finally beat them this week. So, RJ, shh. Steve Dace, speak up. We can't hear you in the back. One dub. We're going to give it out to Eric All for having a monster game versus Penn State, scoring the winning touchdown for 47 yards late in the fourth quarter, 3 minutes left to go. Huge play. First touchdown of his career, or of the season, excuse me. Loved it, man. Loved the way them guys stood up, but especially Eric All because I was down on Eric All. I was to start the season. He's made so many strides, man, as a blocker, as a pass catcher, as a playmaker overall. He is a guy that I really challenged in the beginning of the season to show me something different because I just wasn't seeing it, all through last year. And, he's come back. He's put the work in, and he's a different player this year. And he won us this game. Not by himself, but he made the play that won the game. So shout out to him, man. Live high on it for a few days, and let's get back to it and crush Maryland.
That's the only dub?
That's the only dub.
Okay.
My boy E. Hall. E-All.
E-All.
Yeah, no, never mind. Eric
Yikes.
All.
E-All. Last thing I wanted to just mention real quick is I guess something in Louisville got named after Lamar Jackson. I don't know if it was
They retired his jersey.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, his name is sitting up in the rafters at the in the Louisville Stadium now, so that's dope.
Shout out to that. But did you see him dressed like a character from Power Book 2?
Fam, I was like, you could at least put a suit on, bro.
Nah, that nigga came out
dressed
Gucci
down
as Tariq, which is nuts.
No, he seemed like it was a very emotional day. I haven't really seen too many active NFL players getting their jersey retired in their college stadium, so that's a special honor.
He is probably one of the greatest things to happen in Louisville.
To Louisville? Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, so.
Absolutely. The Bengals are lucky that they drafted Joe Burrow because I was thinking they should have drafted Lamar Jackson.
Oh, for sure.
Give us your dubs and L's in the comments. Tell us what happened this week and what you want us to talk about going forward.